Hi, this is Allison Bartlett, Senior Manager of Disability Programs. First, I want to officially state that I am back from maternity leave, but what I really want to talk about today is discrimination in the HD community. Unfortunately, discrimination is something that happens to the HD community. It's a part of the HD community. It's not a good part of the HD community, but Huntington's disease is a rare disease, so there are a lot fewer people across the country, across the world, who are familiar with the signs and symptoms of Huntington's disease, what it means, and how to interact with someone with Huntington's disease. So, what can we do about this? How can we lessen the chances of discrimination in our community? Well, the first thing that we can do is advocacy and education. A really big thing we can do is starting to self advocate. So, learning how to advocate for ourselves and our loved ones. If we are better prepared to advocate for our rights and our needs as individuals and for our loved ones, then we can share that information in the community. It makes it less scary to go to a business and be like, hey, can I educate your employees on what Huntington's disease looks like so we don't assume somebody is drunk or high when that is not actually the case? Or how can I talk to my friends, coworkers, or other people in my community so more people are aware of Huntington's disease, that there is somebody with Huntington's disease in this community, and how can we protect them? People are usually a lot more understanding if they're educated about an issue, but a lot of times they're not educated about issues, and that starts with us. If we want the broader community, if we want other people to know about Huntington's disease, we have to start talking about Huntington's disease. And this is something we can do more about in the community, but I have created some basic resources on just what are the basic steps for advocating for yourself, because that is not something we are born with. It's something we have to practice, and those things are linked below. I have a webinar, I have a blog post with an infographic. It's just a starting point. And you may not like my 10 steps to how to advocate for yourself. That's totally okay, but it's a starting point, and then you can figure out what works best for you. So that's how to prevent discrimination. Then what do you do if you are discriminated against? What are your rights? How can you combat that? So there are a number of different resources. There are a number of places you can go. What I think is a really good starting point for if you have been discriminated against is going to the National Disability Rights Network. That will get you connected with your disability rights organization in your personal state. These organizations have attorneys on staff. They deal with a lot of different areas of discriminations within states. And discrimination can look like so many different things. It can be discrimination in the community. You get kicked out of a business, or somebody comes up to you and says something. It can be discrimination at work. It can be discrimination in housing. It can be discrimination in that you are now in a wheelchair and you can't access a business or a facility because they are not ADA compliant. And those are all different lawyers or types of assistance that you would need. And I don't expect anybody to know who to go to, where to access those things off the top of your head. So again, very good place to start is the National Disability Rights Network. There is a link below, and that'll let you know who are the right people to contact for different areas of discrimination. If you have questions, you're also always welcome to reach out to me. I can't answer specific questions for specific cases, but I can give you enough information to point you in the right direction. I know if you've been facing discrimination at work, that's an employment law or an EEOC issue. If you're facing discrimination in housing or in the community, that's likely an ADA, Americans with Disability Act rights attorney, or a civil rights attorney. And then we can figure out where in your state you need to go to look for those resources. And then some other really great resources that HDSA has to help educate the community are things like an I Have Huntington's Disease card. We also have a really great how to train police officers and local communities PDFs that you can share. And those things are linked below. But really the important thing is we start having this conversation. It's not fun to say that discrimination is part of the HD community, but it is something that people do have to face. But the only way we can fix it and address it and start dealing with it is if we talk about it, start talking about what we can do to help make sure discrimination doesn't keep happening, and how we can advocate for ourselves and for our loved ones. The greatest way to make change, and to make change for the better, is to bring a voice to our community, and we cannot bring a voice to our community if we don't start talking about things.